Okay, I would like to welcome everybody to the webinar and lounge event of the QRM 4.0 project. We were planning to do, first of all, a live event, but of course, due to the Corona crisis, this was no longer possible, and we've opted to do an online webinar. So, what are we going to do today? So, let me first review the agenda with you. So, the first 20 minutes, I'm going to talk about QRM 4.0, what the project is all about, and how we can support your company with it. Then we'll have a testimonial of Ben Proesmans from Provan, who will talk about QRM 4.0 in practice and what it has meant for his company. And then at the end, we'll reflect on Interreg in the EU region Meuse-Rhine, and Mark Vos from the EMR Interreg Secretariat will talk to us about this program and what it's meaning for the companies and the people in the region. There will be a possibility for you to ask questions as well. There is a question and answer box. You should see this below somewhere in your Zoom box. So if you ask a question, we will see it and we will try to come back to it. So please feel free to share your thoughts while we are discussing and presenting our material. At the end, we'll have the option to reflect on it and go into a dialogue depending on the questions you have. So I guess a lot of you have been experiencing a completely different world in the last few months due to the coronavirus. And the world that we are now experiencing has been called a VUCA world by some. And VUCA is basically a term that comes from the American military, and they were using this term to describe the new situation that they were living in just after 9/11. And what does it mean for companies, and what can we do about the current situation? Well, first of all, VUCA stands for volatility. The current business situation has become very volatile. Some companies have seen a strong decrease in volumes. Others have even seen an increase in volumes of certain products. That's one issue we have to learn to deal with. Another issue in the business world today is uncertainty. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen within a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, and still we need to prepare ourselves. Third element that's making it more difficult is the complexity. A lot of things are going on. A lot of people are taking actions, trying to do things to improve the situation in companies, but the situation is so complex that it's often difficult to predict what is going to happen and what the impact will be. And last but not least, all these things are resulting in a lot of ambiguity for companies. Some people are saying we have to move to the left. Other people are saying that the best direction is go to the right. But what should we do now? So what's the answer to it? Well, there are a couple of things that you have to know to be able to manage a VUCA world. First of all, having a vision is very important in the VUCA world. You need to know what is important and where your focus should be. Second, to overcome the uncertainty, you have to deepen your understanding of the situation, which is not easy. Third, to navigate the complexity, it's very important for the people that are working in your companies is to clarify what is important. There should be no doubts about the focus of the company. And last but not least, to overcome the ambiguity, what has become very important is agility. Companies need to become very agile because the situation is often unpredictable and fast changing. So your companies need to be able to react quicker to changes. So how can you do this? Well, let's look at what is needed to become more agile, to become more competitive in this new environment. I have put here on the slide a scheme of an analysis of the time that goes by in a company when an order arrives, just as an example. So what you see here, an order arrives and it first comes in the order entry department and then goes to engineering. Next comes up manufacturing. And we first will start, of course, manufacturing the components. Then we'll go to the assembly department and then we'll go to shipping. If you look at it, every department will spend a little bit of time typically on performing the actual actions for every order. Often this is in the range of a couple of hours, like here in component manufacturing, where I put down that we needed about 7 hours to do the component manufacturing. And this is indicated here on the slide with the gray space. Of course, there's much more things that are going on, and people cannot work immediately at an incoming order, so the order first has to wait. And the waiting time in companies is often long. And the waiting time here in this example is indicated below the scheme. So in total, there's a waiting time, for example, in order entry of 8 days, component manufacturing 12 days, and so on. Now, if you add up all these times, you typically see that the touch time, the actual time that people are spending on an order, here in this example, 15 hours, is much, much smaller than the total duration here in this example of 30 days. Now, think about it. What will be the main focus of most companies typically, especially manufacturing SMEs? Most companies will try to focus on the gray spaces, on the actual processing times, and will look for new methods to reduce the actual processing time. Now, think about it. Suppose that you were able to reduce the component manufacturing with 1 hour. What would happen with the total lead time of 30 days? Probably not so much. So what we need to do if we want to become more agile, if we want to be able to react quicker to changes, we have to shift our thinking from a pure cost-based focus of trying to reduce the actual processing times to looking at the whole system and put the focus on trying to reduce not so much the gray spaces, but trying to reduce the white spaces, the waiting time between the actual steps. And this is a big change for companies, and this requires a new vision. This is the vision part in the VUCA story. So what does this mean? Basically, companies that need to survive in the VUCA world need to shift their thinking from a pure cost-based focus, which often boils down to let's try to work faster and work harder, to focus on time. And to focus on the time, we need to collaborate better together. So why are these lead times often so long? What is causing this? There are a couple of things that are causing this, and we can work on this. One element is the current organizational structure of many companies. A lot of companies are organized in organizational departments, but in practice, these departments turn out to be silos. And every silo is managed by a department head, and he's doing his best to organize the work of his people as good as possible. But what is often lacking is communication between the departments. People are not talking enough to each other, and as a result, all kinds of problems happen and delay occur. So this means that, first of all, we need to rethink our organizational structure and create the right organizational structure that will enable the people to collaborate better with each other. Typically, we will have to put people in smaller teams centered around a market segment. So that's one element of the story. Second element of the story is organizational complexity. Because we have put people in departments, we also have created complex processes that involve a lot of checking and rechecking and so on, resulting in a lot of meetings, a lot of meals between people. And this, of course, is also causing additional delays. So we have to also focus on simplifying processes. A third thing that will help us to reduce the lead time is to look at the information technology. And Industry 4.0 is a big wave that is coming out of Germany that is promoting to companies to install as many IT tools as possible. But of course, these IT tools need to make sense as well. And here, within the framework of quick response manufacturing 4.0, as we call it, we want to focus on providing the right digital tools to the people on the shop floor that will enable them to eliminate the waiting. What kind of tools are we talking about? There are all kinds of tools that can help us with that. for example, all kinds of tools that will allow people off the shop floor to directly access information. A lot of information is changing fast. For example, all kinds of planning information is changing from minute to minute. If you give people direct access to this information, the decision making will be much better and much quicker. That's one example. Another example are all kinds of collaboration tools that exist to improve the collaboration within teams and also between teams, to visualize problems, to prioritize problems. These tools can really be a big help to streamline your company. Third, what turns out to be very important in a quick response manufacturing company, a company that really focuses on agility, is to cross-train people. Cross-training turns out to be a crucial element when you want to reduce your lead times. And this can also be supported with digital tools that will speed up the training process of people, or that will provide, for example, digital work instructions to people. Another example might be all kinds of systems that can be used to improve the information exchange between companies. So this brings us to a definition that I would like to share with you of quick response manufacturing 4.0. What is it? Well, basically what we are promoting with quick response manufacturing 4.0 is a company-wide growth strategy that will be focused on making companies more agile by reducing the lead times so that companies can prosper again in a fast-changing world. And what will be critical with QRM 4.0 will be the use of digital tools so that teams can collaborate better together. It's all about letting people collaborate better together. Now, this is the philosophy of this project. The QRM 4.0 is not just a philosophy, it's also a project within the framework of Interreg. And the goal of the project that we are presenting today is to help manufacturing SMEs in the EU Meuse-Rhine region to become more competitive by helping them to shorten their lead times. And we will do this by helping them install more human-centered processes. Think about everything we've said about helping companies and helping people to collaborate better, and aiding them with installing innovative digital technologies. And this framework, we're calling it QRM 4.0. We have foreseen a whole range of activities going from inspiring companies with company visits, testimonials, over information activities where we'll share information through technology sheets, we will build demonstrators. There will be several training activities. We also coach and support companies, and we will connect companies in learning networks. So let's go a little bit deeper in a couple of the main activities, just to give you a flavor of the project. So one thing that we will organize in the coming months will be a set of company visits to the innovation leaders. We'll also make sure that you will get access to a lot of testimonials of companies who have implemented already QRM 4.0, and this will be an inspiration for you. Second thing we're working on right now is building demonstrators. So we are going to build 3 demonstrators in our labs. There will be a demonstrator at Technifutur, there will be a demonstrator at the Zuid Hogeschool, and there will be a demonstrator at Sirris as well. And in these demonstrators, we will showcase how companies can use new ways of working and new technologies to slash the lead times and the waiting times in their company. We'll also do a lot of work on informing, training, and connecting people. And we will do this with a set of boot camps, a set of workshops, and also 4 learning network sessions where you will be able to connect with other companies and learn from each other. And last but not least, we will not only do collective actions, we will also invest in individual support for companies. So companies in the EU Meuse-Rhine region who want to take the next steps toward a more agile company will be given individual support by a set of experts from the region. We also want to stimulate strongly the cooperation between manufacturing companies and a set of IT partners. So we really want to bring together manufacturing companies with IT partners so that they can both work on trying to improve the lead times at companies. And to support this, we have foreseen a voucher system. So companies will be able to apply for a voucher. And with this voucher, they will get a small subsidy of around €8,000 per company so that they can invest this money in acquiring new technologies, doing setups, doing tryouts, and so on. We will publish more about this in the coming months. We will also have a newsletter, and everybody who has access to the webinar right now and this lounge event will also be informed through the newsletter of the program. So all the details about the voucher system that we're working out will be made available to you, and you will be able to apply online for this type of support. So let me end by sharing with you the partners of this project. We have 9 main partners that are contributing to this project. So in Belgium, we have the POM Limburg, we have Sirris, and we have the Workitects. For Netherlands, we have the Brightlands, we have Fontis, and we have the Zuid Hogeschool. Then for Wallonia, we have Basmus Développement as an organization, Soalfin, and of course also Technifutur, the technical center. We are also supported by a set of associated partners who are helping us to spread the message. In Wallonia, this is the Agence du Numérique. In the Netherlands, we have LIOF and Keyport. Also in Wallonia, the Pol Mecatec. And then for the German part of the EU Meuse-Rhine region, we have the VOM Hochschule. This project is sponsored heavily by Interreg, so we're very grateful for the sponsoring of the Interreg, which is an European Union fund that is helping the regions to become stronger. And we're also sponsored by the Provincie Limburg from Belgium, and also by the Provincie Limburg from the Netherlands, and as well by the Ministry of Economic Affairs of the Netherlands. So this is my short introduction on QRM 4.0. I'll come back to you at the end of the presentation, but I would like to give now the word to Ben Proesmans of Provan. Ben Proesmans is the owner of Provan, and Provan is a metalworking company in the province of Limburg in Henk, who has invested heavily in quick response manufacturing as a production philosophy, but also in the necessary IT tools to support this. And Ben will share with us his journey he has undertaken.